right, you're all warmly welcome to today's edition of the Voice of Reformation. This is your brother and friend Joshua Oponsafo of the New African Concept. This is a movement dedicated wholly to the cause of championing holistic national transformation. We strongly believe that it is possible that nations like Ghana and then Africa and then even at the global stage, it is possible that we can have holistic transformation, and that is what we are committed to doing. This year, there is a whole lot of package that we have to present to you, and this is going to be, or today is the first of a series of wonderful packages that we are going to share with you. Here at the Voice of Reformation, it is going to be mostly interactive. We'll be bringing on board resource persons from politics to religion to commerce, business, education, health, just name it. Because our focus is to look at national transformation, so it cuts across from arts, creative arts, entertainment, several. Once a month, we will open the room for what we call open forum, where it will be more or less like call-in sessions, where you get opportunity to call, and then also whether via video or even audio, and then you can share your thoughts, or you can also ask some questions, and then the resource persons will be answering. We strongly believe that this year and beyond is going to be great. So do well that when you come on board, you share the link so that several others can also hear of what we are doing and join in the conversation. Today and the next week, I'm going to set the tone with some basic introductory elements, and then afterwards, we will be inviting our resource persons to come in to have panel discussions on various sensitive topics. I can assure you that you are going to learn a lot. Please keep it interactive by bringing a lot of comments also in. So you come on board, you share, and then also you like, and then you comment. You are not bound to agree with me or to agree with the panelists every day, every time on all subjects. If we want to build a healthy nation, then we must believe in what we call clash of perspectives. We must honorably disagree with ourselves and then have various clash of perspectives at the end of the day to synthesize which one will be better for us as a people. So with that being said, as I said, today and the next week will be basic introductory elements, and I pray that today will also find you well. I would like to start by asking 4 major questions, and that is my agenda tonight. To ask 4 major questions, and then I will share my thoughts around those questions, and then you can also join in the conversation by sharing what you think about those questions down there in the comment section. We will be tracking and then following to also see the progress and then proceedings. So what are these 4 questions that I'm talking about? Number 1, that can Ghana really make it? Or can Ghana arise? That is the first question. Can Ghana arise? Secondly, we'll be looking at, must Ghana arise? And then the third question, when must Ghana arise? And then finally, I'll be looking at, will Ghana arise? So the first question is, can Ghana arise? Is it really possible? Why this question? This question is because as we go around, because of the kind of work and passion and burdens that we have, we've been interacting with many people, right from the elitist group down to within the streets. And then many people indeed have given up on Ghana. I don't think that we need several statistical data to back what I'm saying. If you want, the next time you meet somebody in the streets, or you can even put it up on your statuses or on your social media handles to ask for what people think. That is it possible that Ghana can really make it? And you'll be shocked, or you'll be surprised at the kind of responses that you'll be getting. So there is a thick veil of hopelessness that has really covered the nation, especially amongst the youth. Is it therefore a wonder that many people are actually trying to leave the country? Several of my mates, several of my friends, and then people at the American lottery, the slightest opportunity, our nurses, our teachers, they are leaving the country en masse. Why? Because many people have closed down the possibility that it is possible that something like that could happen. And that is why I believe this question is very important. Can Ghana, and by extension Africa, make it? I want to limit our conversation to Ghana because of its specificity, so that at least we can have a specific discussion tonight. So can Ghana arise, or can Ghana make it? My obvious answer is yes. It is possible that Ghana can make it. I am not ignorant. I am not oblivious to the various challenges that we have in the country. But with all these challenges, I strongly believe, or we at the New African Concept, we strongly believe that it is still possible that Ghana can arise, or Ghana can make it. Why? Because one, those people that we think have made it, they are not better than us. Europe some time ago used to be more superstitious than even Africa. Human sacrifices like that of the Aztec Empire, in which is present day Mexico, and then all these people used to commit atrocities and superstition. Even look at Greek, their mythological stuff trying to explain even the patterns of agriculture with zeros and then all kinds of stuffs. So the fundamental thing is that now you see America, you see Europe, and then we think that they have made it. But many people don't know that it wasn't always like this. There was some time past that there was nothing like that. They were having sanitation problems, they were having health problems, they were having religious problems. Any problem you can think about in Ghana and Africa, they used to be having it. So the first thing is the antecedents. If they have been able to make it, then what it means is that it is more than a possibility that we also can make it. Because I don't think that the white man is double-headed, that he has two heads. I don't think that the white man jumps into his straw. No matter whether you're a white man or a black man, ultimately we put on our trousers a leg at a time. They are not specially created. If you are a student of history, you know that they used to be superstitious, they used to be ignorant, they used to be dark, just as ourselves. But the only thing is that they were able to put in certain efforts, and now we will say that in quote they have made it. So back to the question, can Ghana arise, or can Ghana make it? And I'm saying that yes, we can, because one, the antecedents or the precedents that have been set by other people. Germany, through Adolf Hitler, by the end of the Second World War, have been raised down by the other European countries, and it was nothing but ashes. But Germany, now they were able to make it. China 30-40 years ago, they were not in the conversation on the global levels, but now they are the second economic power next to America. Even our own Dubai, some years ago, it was just a neglected desert, but efforts were put in it, and then now it is literally the home of tourism. So all these are antecedents that have been set by some people, and at least if nothing at all, it suggests to us that if people have been able to arise from the thickness of their darkness, then it means that we too will be able to do it. Number two, we have the history, even as Ghanaians, to set the pace, especially when it comes to the soils of Africa. Have you forgotten that Ghana is the first country, sub-Saharan of Africa, to gain independence on Wednesday, the 6th of March 1957? And then, as Nkrumah rightly said, that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until or unless it is what? Connected to the total liberation of Africa. So through the deeds of Ghana, or Nkrumah-led Ghana, now other African countries were able to gain their independence. And we must have this as our historical antecedent, that there is something that we must do. Various African countries are counting on us. Just as we set the tone and pace for independence, they are counting on us for economic, political, and religious independence so that they also will continue. So that is also that if they were able to do it, then we can do it. And the second thing is that we have inherently, we have the pace setting agenda that within our genes. Just as we did with independence, Ghana is also going to rise, and then we will give energy and then ray of hope to other African countries to also arise. So the question is, can Ghana make it, or can Africa make it? And we are saying that yes. Beyond these two, we have all that it takes. We also have human capital, for which is the chief element that we can boast of, because civilizations rest on the shoulders of the human beings. When you see the architecture, the science, those things are just external presentations of the people. So for every country, the greatest resource that every nation has is the human capital. And we have about 30.8 million people. And the good thing is that majority of this population happens to be the youth. In other words, we have a youthful population. This phenomenon is a blessed curse. It can be a blessing and it can be a curse. It can be a blessing based on how we engage it, and it can be a curse based on how we engage it. Either of them, it is left to us to decide. But at least one thing we can say is that we have the human capital, which happens to be the chief resource for every nation or every country to arise. So can we arise? Yes, we can arise because we have a youthful population. And if we are going to retool or rechannel our energies, especially the energies of the youth, then we are going to get a new and then a better Ghana. What else? We also have natural resources. Natural resources, I consider them only to be bonuses, because even without natural resources, we can still do it. But at least nature or God is so benevolent that he has given us a lot of natural resources, for which even the primary six person can name several, from bauxite to gold to timber, just name it. So all these are just an addendum, or we will say it is only bonuses that God has given to us, that if they are to be well harnessed, it can also help us to advance. What else? We have all the necessary institutions that we need to make it as a nation. We have the religious system, we have the church, we have other religious systems as well. And then also we have the political system, we have the traditional system, we have the judiciary system, we have educational system. All the necessary institutions that a nation needs for it to make it, we have it. The only issue is that there is a problem with the kind or nature. The tone and texture of the institutions we have requires that it is subjected to a serious reprogramming. But as far as those institutions are concerned, they are necessary to give us the kind of results that we want. So to wrap up with the first question, can Ghana arise or can Ghana make it? The answer is a yes. We can do it because, one, many people who have done it, they are not specially gifted. They wear their trousers a leg at a time. If they've been able to do it, then we can also do it. Two, Ghana, we have the history or the historical antecedent for setting the tone. Just as we did with independence, we are going to do same with holistic national transformation, and other nations of Africa will also follow suit. Three, we have the human resources, and more of a youthful population, which is a glorious package that we have. If it is well harnessed and then reprogrammed, we can get something positive out of it. Number four, we have a lot of natural resources, which does not really mean anything, but it is only, shall I say, a bonus that God has given to us. We can tap into it and then also expand the frontiers of our civilization, or shall I say our nation. And then also number five, I made mention of all the necessary institutions that a nation needs for advancement and progress. The good thing is that we have it. The only thing is that it is problematic. Our duty, therefore, is to correct those institutions, and then we can set it to work. Can Ghana make it, or can Africa, or can Ghana arise? Yes, we can. Number two, the second question is that, must Ghana arise? Now we have seen that it is possible for Ghana to arise, but is it even necessary in the first place? Is it necessary that Ghana should arise? Is it necessary? Must Ghana arise? And once again, the answer is a resounding yes. Ghana must really arise. Why must Ghana arise? Ghana must arise because if we fail to arise, then it is going to lead to a lot of chaos. Remember, we are sitting on a ticking time bomb. Ghana, and by extension Africa, we are sitting on a ticking time bomb. And if we don't change our ways and then become, very focused, then it is only a matter of time. So there are no two options. We have no other option than to arise. We must all together come together and then fight towards building a better and a new Ghana. Because we don't have any option. If we don't do so, then we are going to have a lot of issues. One, it is going to lead to chaos. One of the security problems we have as a nation is unemployment. It is dangerous to have an increasing number of, highly educated or educated unemployed youth. I take it again. It is a security threat, or it is a dangerous phenomenon as a nation that you keep on getting an increasing number of sophisticated, unemployed but educated youth. Because when they team up together, it can lead to bloodshed, it can lead to chaos, and all these chaos will stifle the progress and advancement of the nation. That is one of the reasons why the question, must Ghana arise, must be met with a resounding yes. If we don't do that, as I said, then there's going to be chaos. It is a golden opportunity to have a youthful population, but at the same time, it is a potential curse, because they are youthful when they take to the streets. When they take to the streets and then something is to happen, what will happen is that there is no restrictions. It is a free range. At the end of the day, it is a free range because we have nothing to lose. Must Ghana arise? Yes, we must arise so that we can meet the demands of our God-given potentials. This is one of the things that really hurts my heart. The fact that I go around, I meet the youth. You will see many of these people locked up and buried within them are strange potentials. But because of the corporate failure of our nation, most of these guys are sleeping on the streets. As of 2016, we had more than 90,000 street children in the streets of Accra alone. These guys, as they are plying the streets of Accra, some of them are to be the next Albert Einsteins. Some of them are to be the next Isaac Newtons. Some of them are to be the next John Wesleys. But these guys will just be moving to and fro the streets, and then unfortunately will die with their potentials. No wonder it is said oftentimes, chiefly through the writings of Miles Monroe, that the cemetery happens to be the richest place in the world. Not the gold mines of South Africa, but rather the cemetery. Why? Because at the cemetery you will find that there were a lot of stories which were never told. There were a lot of music which were never sung. There were a lot of books which were never written, because these people, though they were potentially great, because God will never create a thing or create somebody without placing so much grace and capabilities and opportunities in him. But unfortunately, though we are all born to be geniuses, our society succeeds in taking away the genius out of us. Africa has become a den. Africa has become an enclave, a deposit site where many people with potentials are crushed. No wonder many people can be walking on the streets of Ghana and Africa any day, any time, as if they are aimless, they are useless, they are purposeless, they are visionless. Somewhere, somehow, if they get the opportunity to travel outside, all of a sudden, there seems to be some kind of a modicum of meaning to their lives. They begin to think in a particular way. They begin to organize their lives in a particular way. Why? Because of how the system there have been created. And I believe that we can do same or even better with our nation. So must Africa or must Ghana arise? Yes, we must arise, because without arising, we cannot live up to the full potentials that God has placed upon us. And many potentials, many giftings, many graces have been wasted, and many more are to be wasted if we continue business as usual. This leads me to the third question, that when therefore must Ghana arise? The best time to do anything and everything is now. The truth of the matter is that we are long overdue. We are long overdue for what we have to do. If we don't arise, who will wake up for us? We have to save posterity. That is another reason why we must arise. We have to save posterity. We have to sow the seeds today so that tomorrow our children and children's children will inherit a better Ghana. We must save posterity. So when it is now, I've been saying this for some time now, and I just want to repeat it so that we can have the necessary clarity that this comes with. Have you ever thought of the fact that this year, 2023, is actually beginning the fourth decade of the Fourth Republic? I know you know from social studies or basic history that the Fourth Republic of Ghana started from 1992. It means that 2022 happens to be the end of the third decade. 30 good years. The question is, are you okay with the kind of results that we have gotten 65 years down the line? This year, Ghana is going to be 66 years post-independence. Are we satisfied with the kind of results that we have gotten as a nation? Can we really be proud? Even if nothing at all, for the Fourth Republic, we have spent or expended 30 good years. I strongly believe that 30 years is more than enough to give as a test case something tangible. But you know the answer for yourself. For me, I am not satisfied, and I don't think that you are. Spanning from religion to politics to economy, there is no single institution in Ghana that you can lay your hands on and be proud of. Just name it. There is no single institution. Is it our educational system? Is it Christianity? Is it Islam? Is it our political system? Is it education? Is it business? Unemployment? Is it our judiciary? There is no single institution in Ghana that we can say that this particular thing is well, or this institution is something that we can be proud of. And the sad reality is that since independence from 1957, there is no single problem in Ghana here that we can lay a finger on that we have been able to solve it. Just think of it. 66 years down the line, Ghana as a nation, we cannot boast of a single problem that we can have the confidence and the ebullience to say that for this problem, we have been able to solve it to the zenith. Is it electricity problem? Is it, water problem? Is it educational problem? There is no single problem that we can say that with all our limitations, at least as far as this problem, or is it housing, is it employment, there is no single problem that we have been able to solve. Does this not send a signal into your mind? So the question is, when must Ghana arise? And I'm saying that the time is now. And then even it should have been so many years ago. But unfortunately, we are not creatures of the past. We don't have control about the past. Though we cannot go into the past and then have a brand new start, at least we can start today and then have a brand new ending. And that is why, regardless of how our past have been, regardless of how terrible the coup d'etats and then all those things have been, at least we can start today. Herein lies the passion and vigor and focus of the new African concept. This is all what we are saying. We are saying that we cannot afford to lose the 3 decades of the Fourth Republic, or by extension, we cannot afford to lose 66 years of independence just moving in the vortex of national failure. What about the next decade ahead? We are committed to change the narrative for the next decade. It was Chinua Achebe who said in his writings concerning the Nigerian leadership and the Nigerian citizenry, and then he said that in his conclusion of that book, he said that we have lost the 20th century. We must not, or we cannot afford to lose the 21st. And it's the same thing. We have lost 66 years post-independence as a nation. Yes, we must appreciate the fact that certain strikes have been done. To say that nothing has been achieved is to be a bit extreme, and that will be intellectual and historical dishonesty. So we acquiesce to the fact that there have been certain leverages, there have been certain spotlights of certain progresses that we have had. But with all these things, yet there is something that we have to say, that we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. So let's limit ourselves to the Fourth Republic. 30 years down the line, we are still struggling with a lot of things. Vision 2020, as was promulgated in 1995, that by 2020 Ghana will be on a particular economic level. 2020 came and then we were still nowhere near the anticipated goal. 2023 has caught up with us. This year is pioneering or beginning the 4th decade of the Fourth Republic. And we at the New African Concept, we are saying that if we have lost and missed the 3 decades, it shouldn't be this 4th decade. It is about time, therefore, that we all engage to say that, okay, what must we do in order to bring about the kind of change that we anticipate? Last year, 2022, was Ghana at 65. What it means is that 10 years down the line, which is going to be 2032, is going to be Ghana at 75. And as you know, the spotlight celebrations, we have the anniversary, which is the first year. We have the decade, which is 10 years. 25 years, we have silver jubilee. 50 years, we have golden jubilee. 75 years, we have diamond jubilee. 100 years, we have the centenary. Our anniversary I don't think that we were proud of it very much. 10 years down the line, we have already overthrown Kwame Nkrumah, so I don't think that it should be a proud celebration as of that time in 1967, because Nkrumah was overthrown in 1966. Ghana at 25, that should be around 79, 80, 81. We were in the heat of another coup. Ghana at 50, during ex-President Kufuor's time, we had a resplendent celebration. But though we have the form, it was missing in content. Now the next milestone of celebration is going to be Ghana at 75, which is 10 years from now. And it is also incidentally going to meet up with the 4th decade of the Fourth Republic. And this is where I beseech you by the mercies of God, that let us join hands and then change the history. This is my prayer, and this is our prayer, and this is our anticipation, that by Ghana at 75, we are going to tell a new story. That is why we have initiated it with this phrase that this is the beginning or the birth of the dawn of a new era. But by Ghana at 100, we'll be telling a different story. I can assure you of this, that just in our lifetime, Ghanaian embassies or Ghana embassies all across various nations is going to be a hot cake, because the finger of God, and then what is going to happen here is going to be a marvelous thing. It leads me to my final question, that will Ghana arise? We've said the first question was, must or can Ghana arise? And then it was a yes, or it is a yes. Must Ghana arise? It is a yes. When must Ghana arise? It is now. We must join hands to change the narrative in this 4th decade of the Fourth Republic. And my final question is that, will Ghana arise? For this, whether to say yes or no, it depends on you and I. In other words, it is a matter of decision. If you are to personalize it to me and ask, will Ghana arise? Of course, yes. I don't know about you. If I ask you the same question, will Ghana arise? For you to say yes, it means that then you are willing to commit to the machinery or that will make Ghana a great nation. I have experienced or have observed in my dealings with many people in the light of this vision that we carry, that many people really love the idea of change but are not really ready and willing to bear the responsibility of change. As far as the change is concerned, excuse my language, even the madman in Ghana and Africa desires change because his counterpart who is mad in the Western world is even enjoying better opportunities. So as far as the question, do you want Ghana to change? Everybody, including the madman or even the animals, desire that Ghana should change. But the question is, are you willing to bear the necessary responsibility that the demands of change comes with? Every privilege comes with responsibility. We want to be on the enjoying side. We want to be on the ecstatic side. We want to be on the gain side, what comes with a celebratory side. But before there is celebration, there must be war. And that war comes with responsibility. And as I gradually draw down the curtains of tonight's session by way of introduction for the bigger picture which is ahead, what I am saying is this. Let me just say this. I believe that when we were all growing, and even up till now, it is still in the system. You meet somebody and then the first question you ask, especially when we were kids, we have the adults asking us, when you grow, what do you want to become in future? Even till date, of course, at maybe class 1, class 2, even our own children, we do ask them. Now, the question is, what is the mindset behind these questions? What do you want to be in the future? And then, of course, I want to become maybe a medical doctor, I want to become a pharmacist, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a chartered accountant, and then all. Now, the definition of success in this question is based on selfish, personal significance. Both the one asking the question and then the one answering is operating with the same mindset. And what is the mindset? Become somebody that, one, you will be proud of yourself, and then two, at best, your family will be proud of you. It is very hard oftentimes that we will be thinking in the light of that question that we want people to live to what they are willing to commit to the advancement of their nation. So it is about what do you want to become in future. The mindset is that become a great person, not necessarily to advance societal progress, but so that you yourself, you can enjoy life, and by extension your family can be proud of you, that he is our medical doctor, he is our chartered accountant, he is our president. And that is why we must change the narrative. So the question, will Ghana arise? For me, it is a yes, and I pray that it will be same for you, that it will be a yes. But whether Ghana will arise or not, it is not a subject of confession, it is a subject of expression. It is actually within the capsules of our actions. We must arise. These are the stars that makes a nation. We must come to that point, and that is why I've given all those preambles. And as you are listening to me, I am charging you from the creams of my heart that we cannot afford to allow this nation, this great nation on the heart of God, to continue business as usual. Let me tell you something. Do you know that no matter how successful you are as a person, you are not really or truly successful until that success has something to do at the corporate level? It is the same thing that Nkrumah said, that though Ghana we are gaining independence, but he reminded us that the independence of Ghana is meaningless until it is tied or connected to the overall liberation of Africa. And that is a very perfect statement. In the same vein, your personal success as a professor, your personal idiosyncratic success as a pastor, as a man of God, your personal success as an engineer, as a professional, your personal success is still meaningless until that success finds something to do at the corporate level. And the truth of the matter is that reality will catch up on you. A friend of mine, Mark of I Impact, normally has something to say with this. He normally puts it this way, that do you know that disaster has no conscience? Disaster has no conscience. For instance, if you are living in a compound house, maybe 5 of you in a compound house, and then everybody is minding his or her own business, and then you have someone who is quite dirty, always making rubbish dump, and then all those kind of stuffs, and then all the others claim that I cannot be bothered. After all, it is not doing it in front of my gate. Now when it rains and there is mud, and then mosquitoes begin to invade or come into that vicinity, I'm sure you know by this time that the mosquito is not so brilliant enough to identify the causal agent, that it is Antiesi that brought us into this vicinity. So let us visit Antiesi and then her children alone. The mosquitoes will affect the entire vicinity. If there's an outbreak of maybe cholera or what, it could even, and the funny thing is that it could even be that those who would die through the outbreak may not even be the children of the causal agent. So disaster has no conscience. Your personal success does not isolate and insulate you or safeguard you from the failures of the society. I take it again. No matter how successful you are as a person, your personal success cannot give you security in the face of the failures of the society. When things become chaotic, you may think that you have built a skyscraper. You may think that you have built a house, your personal house, and you have a wall and all that. But when reality catches up, and the guys in the street pull up their guns and pull up their staffs, and then they are charging, I can tell you that your walls cannot do you that service. Your gate man or security man cannot do you that service. In fact, even as a nation, if we charge up, not even Ghana army can withstand the heat that could come. What am I referring to? What I'm referring to is that it is about time we reprogram or we reorient our minds from a quest for selfish self-actualization to asking the question, what can I do by way of contribution to make Ghana great and strong? Herein lies the heartbeat of the new African concept. And we are saying that it is possible that we can all connect to build this nation. What then must be done? 3 or 4 things. 1, we must pray. Join us to pray. Pray for us and pray with us. We believe in prayers, and that is why we want you to join us to pray. Further announcements will be given to that effect. But pray with us and pray for us. We are the New African Concept. This is our heartbeat, that we will see Ghana as a change state, and by extension the nations of Africa, to even assume global relevance. And we know that, as Paul said, we are not ignorant of the devices of the evil one. So we know that there are issues, dark forces. Let us join hands in prayer and pray for us as the frontiers of the New African Concept, that God will also help us with all the necessary wisdom and witty and creative inventions and thoughts that will be able to put down the necessary cascade of activities that will be able to fast track the making of Ghana great and strong. What else? Prayer alone is not enough. After praying, or as we pray, there must be other stuffs. The second thing is that we will be glad that you could even come on board by actively engaging in this conversation. Actively engage in this conversation. Let the issues going on in the country be upon the tablets of your heart. You cannot be within the confines of this nation and then not be moved by anything or everything that goes on in the country, and all what is on your mind is what you will eat, what you will drink, what you will wear, what you will drive, and what you will build. Don't you think that it is a low level of living? Unfortunately, there are higher levels. So apart from prayer, number 2, let us all be actively involved in this discussion. And that is why we are positioning this particular show, which is the Voice of Reformation. It is going to be every Friday from 7 to 8. Make sure that you don't miss any of the episodes. As I said, we'll be bringing on board powerful people, experts, both in Ghana and then in the diaspora, to share thoughts on various subjects, from religion through to politics to family life to socio-economic issues. And we are not just committed to just talking about it, but we are committed that we should find solutions, practical, relevant solutions on what to be done in order to build our nation. So be actively involved. Share the link anytime you see these stuffs, and then like our pages, New African Concept, from YouTube all through to all the various stuffs. Facebook. Make sure that you follow us there. When you see any post, be actively involved in the conversation. And with this video as well, be sharing your thoughts concerning the four questions that I asked. Maybe you may not agree with me. You can also give your perspective to it. We are all in the learning process. At the end, we have only one vision, that Ghana will become a great and a new nation. So let us join hands in this conversation. Number 3, come on board as a partner. Now, you could come on board professional partnership, financial partnership. What do I mean by professional partnership? No single man, no single hand, or no single organization is so capacious enough to single-handedly solve the issues that we are talking about. It will call for a collaborative effort amongst us. And that is why we are calling for effective collaborations. You may be an NGO, you may be a church, you may be a group, you may be a school, or even an individual. We are calling on you for professional partnership. That there is something that you could bring on board, because the subject of nation building is broad. And as we increase our conversations deeper from next week going, you'll get to know the various aspects that we are committed to doing. And it is having various sub-projects. So there is room to accommodate every skill. There is room to accommodate every contribution. I'll recommend that you come on board as a partner, especially those who are doing similar things that we are doing. Let us have roundtable discussions, so that, okay, you are also involved in this. Okay, so we are doing this, so that we can share thoughts. It is one thing that a black man is not used to because of issues of dishonesty. But we cannot continue business as usual. We must begin to give the benefit of the doubt, join hands together, and then see the way forward. Apart from professional partnership, we could also look at financial partnership. In fact, the tax for which we are bearing is huge, and it calls for a lot. It is capital intensive, because our modus operandi is not only to champion information, but also through empowerment and then also field work. As in later times, you'll get to know the full package and extent of what we do as an organization. It is capital intensive. I'll be glad that you will come on board as a partner. You could say that, well, I don't have much, but I can contribute my widow's mite. Maybe every month I can contribute 10 cedis, 5 cedis, 20 cedis, 50 cedis, 100 cedis, or maybe every quarter or annually, at the pace that you can choose. Apart from at the personal level, we are calling on corporate institutions, corporate groups, and then all. As we can be seen down there. Contact us on the contact line, and then let us share. And apart from that, you may have certain ideas that will be useful for us in the task or the mandate that we have taken upon ourselves. Our arms are widely opened. So 1 is prayer. 2 is, let us be actively involved in a conversation, by showing up on our various social media handles. Increase the conversation, put it on our various groups, and then comment as well. Number 3, come on board as a partner, professional partnership as well as financial partnership. The last but one is that you can also come on board as a volunteer. We have a lot of things that we are doing. We need a lot of mentors who can train the next set of leaders. So any skill that you have, from media to leadership to the church, every skill will be needed. So come on board as a trainer, as a facilitator, as a mentor, as a discipler, whatsoever, as a researcher. Whatever skill that you have, kindly reach out to us and come on board as a volunteer, and then give certain suggestions, and then look for space within what we are doing so that you can also contribute your widow's mite through your skills and then other forms of gracious stuff, that abilities that God has embedded into you, that you have also refined and enhanced. And then finally, you can also come on board as an active member of the New African Concept. So any of these 5, through prayer, but prayer alone is not enough. Let us all be actively involved in this conversation. Let us go ahead to become a partner. At least you can support a month, every month 20 cedis. It will go a long way to push the agenda of what we are doing. And then apart from financial partnership, also professional partnership, as well as coming on board as a volunteer. You have a particular skill, it will be needed. Just reach out to us. Let us know what it is, and then there is room, endless room, for whatever your skill is to also contribute to the cause of nation building. And then also you can come on board actively as an active participant or member of the New African Concept. If any of these, you can also show in the comment section. We will reach out to you, and then the necessary protocols of engagement, we will be able to have it. So this has been the first edition of the great and the massive set of discussions ahead of us this particular year. This is the voice of reformation. Next week we will continue. It will be the second aspect of the introduction, and then afterwards we will be inviting resource persons. Sometimes it will be 1, sometimes it will be 3, sometimes it will be 4 panel discussions. As I said, once every month, or particularly the last Friday of every month, is going to be open forum, where it is going to be a call-in session. You can bring in your questions, or you can also share thoughts concerning the subject matter. We believe very strongly that Ghana is going to make it. I'm already joyous in my spirit, because we can see amidst the Egyptian darkness that there is a ray of hope that something great is going to happen. Let us all together join hands and rewrite the history of Ghana. Remember, we might have missed or lost the 3 decades of the 4th Republic, but obviously it is not going to be so for the 4th Republic. For the 4th decade. Starting this year, I can assure you, by 2032, we'll be telling a different story. This is the New African Concept. We do it now, we do it to the finality. Mind you, we have a world to shake, we have a continent to liberate, we have a nation to save, and definitely we have a church, or the church also, to reform. See you again next week.